Hey, I just wanted to record this video on my thoughts before I go to bed. Just something I've been reflecting on this evening related to self-acceptance, self-expression, authenticity, and just do it. Accept yourself, love yourself right where you are. Accept your life right where you are. Have gratitude that God allows you to live in each moment, that He's beating your heart in each moment, but also to be kind to yourself and have compassion to yourself if you do have an internal voice of things that you dislike about yourself or the way you show up in the world. Because I was just thinking, like, for me, as I've been on my self-healing journey, I realized, I even took notes on it, so I realized that our personality, our character, our attitude, behaviors, disposition, blind spots that we have as we go through our life journey, a lot of that is dominated, or a lot of that is developed in us based off of the subconscious programming that happens to us from when we're, like a little child up to, I think it's like the school age. Subconscious programming is what creates the adult that we see when we look in the mirror. The parts we don't like, the parts we do like, our fears, our worries, our self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence. All that has a lot to do with, at least for me, I realized it had a lot to do with my subconscious programming and what I have been conditioned and programmed to think about myself, how I see myself, and then how I see the world around me and people in it, and how I see what I think is appropriate to, like, as far as the way I show up in the world. But sometimes it can be a little distorted, a little foggy, like you don't see yourself clearly if your subconscious programming that has a lot to do with your personality and your character and your behaviors and what you feel and think about yourself and the world around you, your worthiness, your lovableness, whether you feel like you're enough or not, whether you think you can accomplish something or not. All that stuff is programmed in the subconscious based on the people that you grew up around and all the other external influences aside from your family. It could be television, some things that your teacher said to you at school, your peer groups coming up through your childhood. All that has a lot to do with self-acceptance, or having self-acceptance or not, and having authentic self-expression, or being authentic, period. So depending on those experiences, but either way, whatever you might feel internally, just know that you've been groomed and conditioned and programmed to think that way about yourself. But at the heart of the matter, at your core, if you hadn't been influenced by those things, those external influences that made you feel less than or inferior to other people, because of, for one reason or another, if you wouldn't have had that mental conditioning, psychological conditioning, programming, you would never look at yourself like that. Just think of kids. Children do not look at their self and have a problem being inauthentic, they don't have a problem with being authentic. Remember how people would always say kids say what's on their mind, and they do what they want to do in that moment. They don't care. Like if they're crawling and they're trying to learn to walk as they get a little bit older of a toddler, they might walk and they might fall, but they don't care about being embarrassed, so embarrassed that they fail trying to learn to walk that they just decide to quit and just continue. I'm going to crawl the rest of my life. No, they just live in the moment and they don't have no shame, no guilt, no remorse, no unworthiness. I'm not enough. They don't think like that. Those are mindsets and limiting beliefs about yourself and your worldview that is downloaded into our psyche to make us become so self-critical and judgmental of ourselves and how we showing up in the world. And that programming and conditioning from our environment and the people around us when we're a child, it also influences our worldview and how we look and size up other people. But at the core, we're all the same. And so I was just reflecting on that, about self-acceptance and self-expression as I'm becoming more comfortable with just recording my thoughts, just to release the reflection, release that energy out of my body so that my brain, so I won't have anxiety. You just need to free it and, and express yourself. And I hope that, something I'm saying right now could even be useful for somebody else, even if it's just one person. But as I'm healing, I'm seeing how, as I'm healing myself, I'm seeing how big of a deal subconscious programming can be, and how subconscious programming and it's particularly disempowering, but limiting beliefs that have been programmed subconsciously into an individual. I said, well, depending on what, honestly, I wasn't even thinking deep, so don't judge me, but I was thinking, like, depending on what ethnicity or what your ancestral or your generational background is, coming down here to, our modern time right now, if you are a person that is living today, but ancestrally, your lineage is part of a highly marginalized group, or ancestrally, you're coming from people who lived through times where they're where who they were, their identity might have been distorted or made to feel inferior, or just a lot of disempowering beliefs that were subconsciously programmed into certain ancestral lineages and generations from way prior in history. Fast forward, I hope I'm saying this clearly, I'm doing my best, but if you can make the connection, it would make sense when you see certain populations of people right now in the modernized world struggling to get a grip, struggling to get a hold of living a life that they're happy about and at peace. It would make sense that they are just having a harder time compared to other populations or groups of people, because if you're coming from a lineage that had a lot of disempowerment, powerlessness, made to feel unworthy, made to feel unlovable, made to feel less than. If you're a person living today that's got ancestral lineage that dealt with that, well, that subconscious programming and beliefs and how your worldview and self, like identity, those thought processes and perceptions and perspectives have been passed down generationally leading up to today. So I was thinking, like, it's important for people to realize that just love yourself, love who you are, where you are right now, and to know a lot of anything that may be going on in your life currently that you're not okay with, or you're unhappy about, or if something's robbing you of your peace and you feel unfulfilled in life, a lot of that has to do with the subconscious programming that you either received as a child, and sometimes the subconscious programming didn't happen to you because of your personal lifetime. This is generationally beliefs and perceptions and perspectives that that have been of powerlessness, that have potentially been passed down. Ways of thinking and believing and seeing yourself, seeing your worthiness, seeing, it's like a distortion that's been passed down and fed from lineage to lineage. So it could make a person not want to accept themselves, or not want to have fully express themselves, or feel insecure about that, because that kind of mindset, it's been passed down. So I just wanted to share my thoughts, because as I've been healing and just reflecting on stuff, it reminded me of how important it is to self-study, self-discover, and you'll realize as you peel back the layers of the onions on your psychological processes, you'll start to wake up, more than likely to see things more clearly and see the truth about who you are at core. If you weren't, your ego personality hadn't been shaped, programmed, conditioned, and shaped into who you think you are and how you see the world, which sometimes can be uplifting, but sometimes it can be a mindset that makes you see yourself in a powerless way, unworthiness, unlovable. So it's worth doing. As I've been doing my healing, it's actually been helping pull back the blinders that's been on my eyes to see things more clearly. And so I'm just sharing in case something can help someone else, something I say could put an idea in somebody else's mind. So hopefully it's not too echoey. I'm in my computer room and I don't know. I don't have a mic or anything. This was just right off the top of my head, but I wanted to get it out while it was on my mind. So good night. And just remember, just love yourself. You've always been lovable. You've always been enough. You've always been worthy. And those things are inherent. Those are inherent qualities and values that you have, regardless of any external attachments you might have to what you think you need to do or accomplish or be, or how you need to show up to have those forms of value or self-worth. Nope. You're lovable, you're enough, you're worthy. That's all inherent, because that's how God sees you. The God that beats every human being on this earth, that God who's in control of our heartbeat. That's how he sees us. So it's important to heal our minds so that we can see ourselves more clearly, see ourselves the way he sees us. So, all right, good night. Bye.